With the fifth and final season of Stranger Things premiering recently, I thought it would be a great idea to talk about how Stranger Things might have influenced Dungeons and Dragons. Today on Greyhawk Grognard. And just a reminder, this is one of my collaboration videos with Joe the Lawyer and Eric Tankar, who are also going to be talking about the same subject. And this Sunday, we're going to be doing our live stream, so please do check that out. And if you're watching me on their channels, please do like and subscribe. And if you're watching them on my channel, please do the same. Now, I didn't see Stranger Things when it first aired. I kind of it was late to the party. My wife and I watched the whole thing through last year and really enjoyed it. It's a great fun show. A lot of horror elements, which I really like. A lot of sci-fi. So it was very very cool. But undoubtedly, one of the key elements for me was the nostalgia hits, right? Because it is set in 1983. The first season is set in 1983. And I was born in 1966, so that makes me in '83. I was still in high school. It was peak, uh, you know, uh, peak pop culture input to me. So everything in the early '80s was just still remains, just such a nostalgia hit. Um, and of course, part of that was Dungeons and Dragons. The early '80s were peak Dungeons and Dragons, especially first edition AD&D. Um, 1983 was, you know, if not the peak, it was really near the peak. We were getting the best things coming out in Dragon Magazine. The cons were ginormous. I was starting to go to game cons myself. Every Friday night, we would play Dungeons and Dragons in the Morris County Mall, and there were literally over 100 kids would be playing in this big empty storefront that was leased out by the comic book store. And every Friday and Saturday night, it would be filled with kids just sitting on the floor in little groups of 5 and 6 playing D&D all night long. And then some of us would break away and go to the arcade or the pizzeria or the McDonald's or whatever. But that was D&D at the mall, and it was just amazing. And uh, Stranger Things season one and season two, which is '84, just continued it on, and it really hit that nostalgia. And undoubtedly, I'm not the only person like that, right? Everybody in my age group is going to feel exactly that same way, and especially if you played D&D back in the day, and a lot of people did, and then they kind of dropped it off. And I think seeing Stranger Things kind of brought up that, hey, yeah, D&D was fun. I wonder what D and maybe I should get a D&D book and try again. Now the timing is perfect if you're Wizards of the Coast, because in 2014 they released the new edition of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition 5e. In just 2 years later, here comes Stranger Things, this massively popular show, which is set in 1983 and which features, at least somewhat prominently, Dungeons and Dragons, first edition. In that case, it was AD&D they were playing, I believe. And you have creatures, called Demogorgons and Vecna and so forth. So all of this is going to really reinforce that yeah, maybe oh yeah, D&D was fun, maybe I should do it. Or even people who weren't alive back then, they're still fans of the show, and they see these kids having so much fun playing D&D, and they were getting so involved in it. And maybe that would get them to explore it. And undoubtedly, Stranger Things gave D&D a boost. And you see this because there were some tie-in things with Wizards of the Coast and so forth. So they knew what they had. They knew it was doing this for their game, but and probably entirely coincidentally. But the key is though, even though the kids in the show are playing AD&D, the casual viewer, the casual player, even isn't going to really care what edition they're playing. Right, from their standpoint, they're just playing Dungeons and Dragons. And Dungeons and Dragons is just whatever happens to be current at the time, right? So they're not going to go out to eBay and seek out the old first edition books. They're going to get whatever is available at the local store. Probably not even a game store, because it's in uh, uh, Barnes and Noble and Target and things like that. So undoubtedly, I think the nostalgia hit of the 80s and Dungeons and Dragons specifically because that's featured in the game, I think really contributed to the success of fifth edition because of the timing. It came out a year and a half, 2 years right after the new edition came out and gave it a much needed boost because normally what you're going to see when a new edition of the game comes out, it spikes really early and then it kind of trails off because everybody who's interested has got it. This gave D&D 5e another bump, and I think that's very significant. But hey, if it brings more people into the game, that is a good thing in and of itself. So, those are my thoughts on the relationship. I'd love to hear what you thought of it. Have you watched the show? What'd you think about it? Do you agree with me about 1980, about the early 80s and AD&D? Share with me your experiences down in the comments. Please do. And hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will talk to you all later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.